Yeah, well, I think that he really was saying the materials and counting on they're doing it themselves. But,
It's still
I
ahead.
just think, you know, I know, Bobby, you wanna chime in now, or you wanna, so what you have to add, we can add to our discussion.
159, they start from time I'm done. I feel like I won the lottery. There's more ways than one. Appreciate what Martha and Harry, what y'all done. It's a long time coming. It was 2 years ago this month that I almost got killed in that intersection. Come in here pretty bad. Give y'all a hard time about it. Bobby West, a week later, she got hit in that intersection. It took a while to get here, but just look forward to that. What we call a switchback, engineers call it switchback, it's a lot more than 90 degrees.
Yeah, it really is.
It's about 100.
It's about 110 or
Almost
so.
340 or something like that. It's up there in the back like it. That is exactly what I recommended here a few months ago.
Yeah, you did.
Martha and y'all, and how, I figured if we ever got an engineer to look at it, not going out on politicians, but politicians are not engineers.
Right.
Sam Williams is a politician, he's not an engineer. Now, only met Mr. Howard one time, but he's a district engineer, and he wouldn't be there if he wasn't
Yeah.
good at what he's doing.
And I will say this, what Martha mentioned about they could fix it, he said it would be a pretty big project, but they could fix the Pine Mountain Valley end of it by paving more of that and widening it. But when we asked,
The trucks, the people that live out there,
we asked him at the end what he thought would be the best, and he said it would be better to close it.
anytime you change something that people have been used to all their life, you're gonna have some problems. It's like a new entrance to Callaway Garden. They got a whole bunch of accidents out there when they changed that intersection and made that new entrance. People, they get in there, they into it before they realize where they're at, and they mess up. Like I said, I feel like I won the lottery. I'm glad we go forward with this and not have to look back. Something else hit my mind about it. That's going on. Oh, when they did the work from the prison camp, out of jail, on up the hill, past the health department, they stopped the hill, and then the road trails off the left to come into this intersection. The purpose when they stopped it was to go straight through between the library and where Jane McMichael lived. And they got the intersection up there on top of that hill. Now, it required city and the county to buy about $500,000 worth of right-of-way. The state don't do that.
You're right.
But as to that, it would solve this problem right here. Some people say Valley USA filling station, we want $500 in. They say tear down defects, block building. That just puts it closer to the crest of that hill where you would have site business. The intersection should be right there, you come out to the library. You can have a good site distance, you can make, the problem out here is trucks are required to maintain their lane. Well, they can't do it. Everybody knows they can't do it. But if it's an accident, it don't matter what follows after that, like when Bobby got hit, it's the truck's fault because he wasn't maintaining his lane. I was about trying to back up and got pretty close to center line, got nailed.
Yeah, I remember when that happened.
The bad thing about that one was that police chief, he didn't see it. There's another chicken truck following, that truck driver said it was not his fault. The police chief didn't take it to anybody. So she ended up having to pay $1,000 deductible for about a $1,200 bill. And, you know, that wasn't exactly right either. So,
I agree.
but I do appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You know, one other thing I did ask about with this intersection here, and they can change the timing on those lights to take advantage, to make that stop bar a little bit more palatable too, so that they have time to make the turns.
And also, they were going to put, I think, a stop bar on 27, so that when the trucks are going south, when traffic is coming south and is in the turn lane on the 27, then the chicken trucks that are planning on turning right will have a little more room without moving the vehicle in that turn lane.
You got to move the sensors back too, because
Yeah.
you got to trip the sensor,
Yeah.
because the light bulb's not going to change.
They committed to do that. They said that was something they could do and do quickly. That's where it is. I think my recommendation, after seeing and talking with them and listening to everything, my recommendation would be to request that we take back that portion of 354. That's open to any questions or doubts or whatever. Is that a motion? I make that the form of a motion.
Second, third, and fourth.
All right. Okay, so we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All right, all in favor of requesting that the Georgia DOT give that portion of Highway 354, Georgia 354 back to the county? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. All right.
About 10 people out here from Nevada, one from Hamilton.
Okay.
I appreciate what you know.
That's just one of the problems. We've got to keep zeroing in on the others. All right. Well, thank you, folks. Next item, we have had a vacancy on the Planning Commission. I sent each of you an email. Willie Rutledge, who was the vice chairman of the Planning Commission, resigned. Well, he just declined to be renominated for the new term that started January 1. He held an at-large position. I have someone I would like for y'all to consider. The name is John Brent. He lives in Harris County. John retired recently. He was the chief of the Environmental Management Division in Fort Benning. He's been active in Harris County for some time on other issues, and he has had some conversations with Ms. Hathaway and also with Patty Cullen at River Valley region because of their work and whatnot up here. And after his discussions there, he said that he would like to do that, and he thought he could be of service. Tracy, you want to add anything from your conversation with him?
I really enjoyed speaking with him. He does have a lot of knowledge of planning issues and a love for Harris County, and he's done his homework, so I was impressed.
He's a very smart individual. He doesn't mind speaking out and taking a leadership role. He's been a civilian contractor at Fort Benning for years and years and years. But I will, I'll let you two take a look at that. Have y'all come up with anyone else that you might want to put in for that position? I would move that we appoint John Brent to that position.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Look at it before we see if there's any discussion. Okay. All right, any discussion on that? All in favor of appointing Alan Brett, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. All right, Nancy, I will contact him tonight, tell him to get in touch with you to give you his contact. All right, our other item, and I asked Nancy to go ahead and put this on the agenda, even though it did not, you only got it tonight. And if you want to delay it, postpone it, that's fine. But it's an agreement that we have done every year for the last several years. It's the agreement with DOT utilizing inmate work detail. DOT pays the county for that, and they provide the vehicles, the tools, and the equipment. So, John, I don't know whether you had a chance to review this.
I've glanced at it. It appears to be the same agreement we've used in the past. Again, I would say that the entity is incorrect. The Harris County Prison is not an entity. It should be Harris County, Georgia.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we'll ever get DOT out off where they are, but at least they've added the Harris County Board of Commissioners as the signature page, so.
Okay.
With that, I'd say go ahead and approve it.
And if you'll note, it's from July of last year through June of this year.
This year, we'll have to do another one in
Hopefully this will do us on time.
in 2 or 3 more months.
Have we been proceeding as if?
Yes,
as
sir.
if it was
Yes, sir.
used before?
DOT just wants to get their ducks in a row.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve, we have a second. We got a motion, we have a second, any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. All right, Mr. Woods, County Manager, first is recycling Pate Park.
Yes, sir. We had originally started working with Pratt Recycling when they had a representative specifically covering our area. She, for some reason unknown to us, resigned. Since she's left, we just have not been able to make connections. They originally quoted us $85 for a bin, then it went to $95, then it went to $212 a week, or a month, I'm sorry. Well, for them it was a week, I think. Once they just got totally out of control. We talked to LaGrange some, and they didn't have any bins to service us, and then I knew that Advanced Disposal was working in the Columbus area, and I had worked with them previously with good success, so I contacted them, and they came up, and actually their area manager is a Harris County resident. They said that they could service no problem, give us $85 a month, no delivery cost, just very amenable to working with us, and it would be still utilizing the facilities of Pratt, and it still would be single stream recycling. This is an agreement for just Pate Park, but this is also a possibility for elsewhere in the county as we want to expand single stream. I've already got an article written. Hopefully, once we get this started, I'll get it to Andy so people can understand the difference between single stream and having to separate recyclables. And basically, we don't make any money off of it, but where we save our money is we pay about $43 a ton for tipping fees. So if you can eliminate a couple of tons of waste going to landfill every month, it's a break-even proposition, and you're helping the environment, so you kind of get a 2 for 1. So I would like to request permission to go ahead and begin the contract with Advanced Disposal for recycling at a 8-yard bin at Pate Park, with the option left open to expand as the commission sees fit in other districts within the county.
Couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Since it's strictly for these enumerated items, and it says that all other waste is prohibited, will there be some sort of sign or something posted?
Yes,
to
there
keep
will,
folks from
we'll
putting all
have
this
that.
stuff
We'll
in?
have it posted. And the problem is, if they get a load that's badly contaminated, they reject it, and then we end up having to pay the $85 plus a tipping fee. So you lose on that. But we think that Commissioner Langston has had quite a few individuals in her district asking for the recycling to be there. I think a single stream makes it much easier. Once folks learn, the main thing you can't put in there is glass or household garbage. They take a whole lot of stuff that they used to not take. The thing about Pratt is they have a market that they're able to make these products usable, whereas we're too small scale to make it worthwhile for anybody to deal with us on obvious items.
And it indicates that there would be an extra charge if the wrong items are put
Correct.
in there.
That's what I just alluded to.
That's the tipping fee.
Yes.
And how much is that?
Depends on how much of the load. If it's a ton, then it's whatever the tipping fee is for that ton. And I assume that instead of it being diverted to the LaGrange, it'll be diverted to the advanced disposal, which I think is it's not. Yeah, I don't remember either, but it's to the rather to the north. It's to the east.
Well, I think it's a good idea. I just want to make sure we're getting into it.
We have in District 3, just a little bit of background, District 3, New Mountain Hill Elementary School 4 years ago had its 4th grade project for the National Green Campaign. They had a recycling project, and we placed a recycling bin at New Mountain Hill. That has been removed due to some issues. But our District 3 residents have really gotten accustomed to having that recycle bin there. And for months now, Greg and I have been working to try to get something. And I realize this is not in District 3, it's actually in your district, Harry. But it's close enough that it can service District 3 also.
It's a good location.
Yes, it's a great location.
Say misuse of putting the wrong items.
I would imagine there's gonna be a little bit that they're probably willing to accept, but if we start getting whole-scale garbage being dumped in there, or yard trash, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about Cave Park is is a trash dumpster there, so they have no reason to put it in the recycling unless they're just being obstinate.
We hope to be able to place this at least in close proximity to the trash dumpster with the appropriate signs as to which is recycling, which is trash.
And the advantage of this over the convenience center is it's 7 days a week.
Yeah, that was my concern, having something for the non-recyclables. I would like to know what the tipping fee is, if it's at least comparable to what we would be paying when we charge here.
It is comparable except for the mileage. I think we would pick up some extra mileage charge on it. Hopefully we're not going to be seeing that happen.
So the main difference would be the mileage.
Yes.
The reason that it was taken away from Mount Hill.
Mountain Hill School asked that it be taken away
Okay, why?
because they said there were some issues.
Do they have a regular trash receptacle there?
No, no.
Did you have something, Jim?
I'm willing to try it. I have found out that in the past, unless someone is at the place, it doesn't work well. But I'm willing to do it on a 6-month trial. And if we end up paying tipping fees at that time to stop it, you know. It's basically cash neutral at this point, but if we start paying $500, $1,000 a year to ship it, or, you know, otherwise we should go back to either put it on at a
Convenience center.
where you know someone is available to watch it.
And that may be, and as the program progresses, and if it works well, then maybe we want to start one of the convenience centers and start cutting down some of our tipping fees there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, would they require a contract for us to sign?
They have a service agreement that we need to sign, yes.
Okay. Because I don't know whether it has a time in there or not. Certainly, if it's not working, we're not going to want to do it. I don't think they would want us, if it wasn't working for those reasons, I don't believe they'd want to continue either, so. Okay.
And the fact that the Harris County resident runs advanced disposal in this area, he's got a vested interest in wanting to see it work, because advanced disposal obviously would like to do more work in Harris County.
All right, well, I'll entertain a motion.
I make the motion that we approve this.
Okay, do you have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion?
You indicated 6 months.
For 6 months.
The only reason I hesitate is because I don't know what the language is in their service agreement, whether it's
I don't know
got a term limit or not.
Well, it should be, there should be some term limit or.
Should be something in there,
30 days
I would
notice or
think.
something like that.
Termination provision.
I haven't seen the agreement, but
Yeah.
we can make it a year, but then give us the right to terminate it on 30 days written notice.
I would prefer that we do it for a year,
I think so,
because
too.
one thing's gonna be getting the word out that it's even there.
I'd say a year, but with a 30-day termination for,
Without cause.
without cause, but that we would have cause.
That's fine.
Okay.
I could understand if they would not want that 30 days to occur too close to the inception of the contract, so maybe, they may want us
Yeah.
locked in for a 6-month period.
Okay.
Yeah, like Becky said, it needs some reasonable period to begin with, and so the word will get out.
Why don't we let Greg talk to them, see, and John, and see what kind of language we can work out there that's amenable. Okay. All right, all in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. All right, airport consultant, RFP.
Yes, every 5 years, we are supposed to go through a reselection process of our airport consultant. Our time period was actually up into 2014, but because they were, our current consultant was in the middle of a taxiway design project, DOT decided that it was not an appropriate time to switch. However, that design is finished. They have officially notified us that it's time to go out and reselect. You can still select the same consultant, but you have to go through the process every 5 years to make sure that you're going with the best consultant for your circumstances. So I need permission to go ahead and do an RFP, preferably with a 90-day window to go ahead and get that done, so we can get it out, get it selected, and begin working on our other projects.
All right.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Okay, vehicle fleet insurance or increase?
You saw Andy's wonderful piece with the sheriff on the front page with one of the vehicles we're going to be addressing. He went on I wouldn't say shopping trip, because we didn't pay anything for the vehicles except for delivery fees. He acquired a fuel truck that only had 74 miles on it for the airport. Also a cherry picker for the facilities maintenance department, which can also be used by recreation and other ones that need that kind of vehicle to be able to change lights and things like that, as well as 2 very unique trucks for his, as he calls it, novelty use. I don't think he's planning on keeping those in the inventory long-term, but nevertheless, there is a requirement that when we do add vehicles and not turn other vehicles in, it requires commissioner approval, because we have to insure those vehicles and whatnot. What we're asking is for the commission to go ahead and approve those 4 vehicles to be added to the county fleet.
All right, do I have a motion?
So move. We add
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Our mission is asked to increase the number of vehicles for the sheriff's office.
The airport and facility maintenance.
Oh, I know, but what that means is if he is not planning to keep those vehicles, would the number of vehicles stay the same?
If he gets, as I understand it, if he gets rid of those vehicles, he'll have sufficient funds to utilize probably to replace them with more appropriate patrol vehicles or investigator vehicles as opposed to.
In the short term, it's an increase in the number of vehicles. In the long term, it still may be an increase because we would still have the truck, fuel truck.
Yeah, there'll still be a two.
Which is
two
still be two, the fuel truck and the cherry picker. Cherry picker, we don't have anything to do that. When we have to change lights at the athletic fields, we have to rent the truck to do that at $600 a day. So this costs us nothing other than bringing it down here, so.
I'd like for my motion to be amended that this is increased just for these specific vehicles and not for the, a total number increase for the future. I think we would need to look at that. At such time as, say, patrol vehicles are needed,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be, because he got rid of the non-big trucks, he still has space to buy a new.
So the increase is just for these two vehicles?
Just these specific vehicles, yes.
I'll second that.
Well, all right, let's make sure we put, there are 4 new vehicles,
Yes.
and the 2 novelty vehicles, he's not gonna turn in a car for those.
Correct.
So it's really 4 vehicles.
Yes, we-
Right, I understand, but
But what you're saying is that he can't get rid of the novelty vehicles and then go and say, oh, I turned them in, so I'm getting 2 new more
I
programs.
understand that, okay.
Without getting commission approval.
All right, without getting permission, that's all right. Okay, so we had a motion and a second with that caveat. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carried.
I have one other item that I would like to.
June seconded that motion.
well,
Becky,
I've
you
got
did the first
my amended motion.
So, okay, so you withdrew your second.
Yes, I will throw my second.
Okay.
Just want to make sure we need to do.
Same sheet,
Okay.
okay.
All right,
I would like to request, it can't be at this next meeting, but either maybe the following meeting or sometime in the near future, I want to bring all the SPOS accounts before the commission and look at what's in each line item, what's available, decide what the heck we're gonna do with it. I mean, we've got money going back to '99.
Yes.
We need to clean the house on this and get things in order. And if cities have not, I don't want to be ugly, but if cities have sat on projects for 10 years and haven't done them, it's time to do something else with that money. And so that we have our house in order and we're not constantly trying to figure out which pot. And then also so we have a better idea of what we actually do have to work with for various projects. So
good.
either this second meeting in March or on into the second meeting in April. And the reason I say the second meeting is I, Tracy, and Jason were all going through the Economic Development Academy at Americas, and we just can't get back in time to have a workshop. We leave at 6:30 in the morning, get back at 6:30 at night.
The second meeting in April, you already have a budget work session tentatively scheduled,
Okay,
so yeah, you would want to do it then.
When,
but
is it
well,
just, what is it, the first or the third Tuesday that you have to follow?
it's the first first Tuesday and for the next 3 months.
Okay.
But it's something we need to, if we can figure out time to do it.
I had something that I meant to bring up earlier because I had it on the original agenda. Sometime, and we'll discuss the two up together. Some time ago, a month or so ago, each of you got a copy of roads for water line extensions with an estimate of cost and whatnot. I have met with Jeff last week. There are some of these that he feels that he can certainly do at half the cost or sometimes better than that. But there are several, there's information that he has that I didn't want to trust my memory and really go without his being there. So I would like for us to have a work session with Jeff to go over that so we've already got money coming in to the SPLOST, of the SPLOST funds. And I'd like for Jeff to meet with us and go over that so we can make some decisions on which roads or which which areas we're gonna expand, do that. So,
Second meeting in March.
I guess we'll have to do it the second meeting in March. Although, well, actually, we could go ahead and have the work session. I mean, it's really not critical that Greg or Tracy be there to talk about
No,
putting
for
the water lines
For
in.
the water lines, no. for the other
Yeah,
one.
but for the other one, yes.
All right.
So we could maybe do, next month, do the work session with the water so that we can start getting some of that done. And then, do for the other one, the second meeting in March
Okay.
on the splosh.
First one, 6 o'clock.
I think probably 6 o'clock. Yeah, I don't think we need to be here at 5. I mean, yeah, I probably spent a couple hours with Jeff, but that was really going over, and we talked about some other general things with waterworks while we were doing that. I think, yeah, with him, he can tell us what we need to know, and we can begin to make some decisions. And I think, frankly, the decisions that we need to make are, do we do one in each district like we had hoped to do to begin with? Which ones make more sense to do than others, and that kind of thing. Because certainly we don't have all of the $1 million in yet, so we'll just begin to pick them off. Okay,
Is there a specific time for the one to discuss the splosh?
splost.
I don't know if we need 2 hours to go over that or not.
Let's wait, why don't we say 6 right now, but then when Greg starts looking at that and see if he thinks we're gonna need more, we can change.
All right.
That's okay with everyone? All right. Okay, and then we have, next session is Mr. Taylor.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, there are two items that are under this annexation that we have before you. A few years ago, the legislature created a procedure by which cities and municipalities could annex property, but they have to give a notice to the county of the annexation, what's in it, and a number of other things. And that's what this is before you, is an annexation, two annexation requests by the city of West Point. A lot of times you see these come up where they're annexing property that is maybe a subdivision or is going to be developed, and you start getting into some different kind of issues. And there's a whole long procedure by which it can end up in baseball arbitration. But both of these are annexation requests by the city of West Point for other municipal property, or on one of them, and another one on some state property. The first one that you have before you is an annexation request for 10 acres. It lies as you go south on I-85. It is right there runs along 85, and it's for their sewer treatment plant, and it's right on the edge of the river. And it is contiguous with other property that, or other property that's within the city limits of West Point. One thing that the new annexation statute prohibited was creating islands, so that you would have a city island surrounded by county property, or vice versa. But this does not create an island. This is owned by the city of West Point. They're wanting to be within the city, and I think logically would be. I see no grounds for objecting to it. I raised a couple of little technical issues, but those should not hold it up at all. The second one before you is annexation is a 21-acre tract. It lies on the south side of I-85, and it is the DOT Welcome Center. So as you're headed coming north on 85, you cross the river. As soon as you cross the river, the Welcome Center is right there on the right, and it will be that 21 acres. It is contiguous to other property that is within the city limits of West Point. and would make sense for, I think perfect sense for it to be within the city limits of West Point. They can provide police and fire protection certainly a lot easier than the county can, getting that far up in the northwest corner of the property. So both of these annexation requests appear to be appropriate. There are no islands created, and there are no county facilities located within the area that they're annexed, that they propose to annex, and I'd recommend that you approve both of them.
All right, thanks, and there are no taxes on them
No,
anyway.
no,
because
there's
they're
both
county-
of them.
they're
One's owned by the city of West Point, you can't tax that,
They're
and
government, you're right.
one's owned by the state of Georgia, and it's too bad we can't tax it.
So there is no
But,
real effect on it.
but there's no taxes coming on either one of them.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, got a motion and a second for both of them. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right, I would make a motion to go into executive session for personnel.
I also have land acquisition and potential litigation.
Okay.
Potential
litigation. All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Who was the second?
Are you not in favor?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking.
I know
Yes.
you were distracted, I'm sorry.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you, folks. Stay warm.